Welcome back to Let's Talk More Do podcast. I'm your host, Lamar Griffin. Today, I have the magician with the helmets, good man, husband. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
All right. Thanks, Lamar. I'm Steve Adams, and I am the Chief Revenue Officer for Green Gridiron.
Talk to me, for the people on the podcast listening and that's not watching, talk to them about what Green Gridiron is, what you guys do.
Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this short because we do a lot. So the business is really split into three. We have our online store, greengridiron.com. People can come in and not only buy field use or collectible helmets, but select all the little nuances that make it their own. So say you're an OBJ fan. You don't want just a Giants or a Browns helmet. You want his mask, you want his clips, you want all the stuff. We do that.
That's cool.
Right? And we work directly with the NFL, NCAA, all the way down to youth leagues for face mask reconditioning and for 3D bumpers, decals, etc. And then the third arm of the business is really a marketing company. So we rely heavily on social media and the content, and that's how we find awesome people like yourself. And it's also how the teams and the players know that we're legitimate.
Let's jump right into that, to the content. Talk to me about, because if you guys haven't seen the YouTube show, you're in the spotlight there. But talk to me about your creative side. This is a podcast where photographers, videographers, entrepreneurs. Talk to me about where that passion came from for you, from actually using the camera.
So I'm originally from New Jersey, and I had a job that I really didn't like. And when I got out of that job, honestly, we had very little money, and we were probably in not the position to go spend money on camera equipment. However, my wife was like, I really think you should try to pick up a camera. You're an artistic guy. So we spent like $700 at the time. That was damn near everything. And I bought a Canon T3i and a basic 50mm lens. And I went out, and I remember my very first photo I took was of a hummingbird in action. And I don't know if you know how big or small hummingbirds are.
Tiny.
And I showed it to her, and like she like started crying, and she's like, do you know how hard it is to get these pictures? Like, and you just did it because I have this, it's like an awareness, right? Yep. And from that, it turned into me going out to photography companies and just saying, hey, let me take some pictures. Then I got hired, and then in 5 years, I started my own company called More Than a Memory.
Okay.
And we specialized in making things more than just that memory. Like that. Sweet 16s all the way up to weddings, and then it turned into marketing events. So I was able to sell that business, move to South Carolina, and I just didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up, man. And I met Jay Elmore, the owner of the company that started all of this. Big shout out to Jay. And we were at an event neither of us wanted to be at. And he's this big, tall guy, and he's like, football? And I'm like, cameras? And we were like, yeah. And he told us this vision he had of growing the company and having a YouTube presence and social media. And it just clicked, man. It just took off.
Talk to me about the team you got here. Of course, if you guys don't know, I spoke about Amanda. You have so many wonderful people in the building that do things. Talk to me about how you guys like come together and do different things.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We have an interesting team here, and I say that word because we're small enough to be nimble to service people, but we're large enough to service people around the world. Right? We opened up a brick and mortar location in Cancun, Mexico. Okay. We have another one coming in Guadalajara soon. We'll have a third location in Germany, hopes in 18 months. In-house, we have about 19 to 22 employees, depending on the season. And they are team sales reps that are dealing with the highest level, all the way down to people just breaking down cardboard boxes. Yeah. Every single job matters. The tape on the boxes have to be straight. Face masks have to be right. Helmets have to be just perfect, right? Otherwise, don't do it.
You told that to me earlier today. We were doing something and you said you guys take the same care for a 6th grade football player that you do for the NFL.
And that's for real. You can go back and see our table. It could be the New York Giants, Dallas Cowboys, and then Bob's Youth League. Yeah. They're getting the exact same treatment, same inspection, same powder coat. And it's not that we're dumbing it down or increasing it. It's just all we do is that best level of face mask recon.
I love that.
Yeah, and then my direct team consists of Bella, Amanda, Ryan, Tyler, Sarah Jean, Brittany, and Kristen.
Perfect. Right? Shout out to the team.
Big shout out, because that team, by the way, is of course the best team in the whole Green Gridiron. What we do is everything that has to do with sales, marketing, social media, and customer service.
Talk to me about social media. That's why I found you guys on YouTube, and for everyone listening on the podcast. what you guys got here, what you're doing is incredibly hard. I don't want to compare it, but I would say it's on the same level as like if you went to LA and you went to a production studio, you all have everything here. And I mean, even from you knowing how to direct, from, Amanda knowing the different angles, like director, producer, copywriting, camera, lighting, audio, these are all different skills. People don't, sometimes they think they're all like, you're supposed to know how to do one. Talk to me about like that.
It's crazy, right? So I'm going to give you an example. Yesterday, we had an Axiom helmet came in here, and we knew that we had a project to go. So I contact Amanda, hey, get me all the write-ups you can, all the videos you can. I soak up as much as I can quickly. I get behind the desk, we shoot it. From there, the girls they shoot all the B-roll, all the insert shots. They give me the memory cards. I then do the post-production work. I'm coming up with the thumbnail image. I'm coming up with all the editing I do myself. That video was out that night at a pretty good level.
Turnaround, essentially.
Yeah, and then what I do is I rely on the team to set me up, right? Yeah. So we have a web developer in New York by the name of Matt. The guy's brilliant. So when I need banners made, I send it off to him. Hey, man, can you get this done by tomorrow? Bella, can you set me up with this? Tyler, reach out to this person. Sarah Jean, call them. And it is delegating, but it's also, I get in there and do just the same amount of work with them.
Let's go away from the work here and get more into you. First of all, talk to me about the ride, and then talk to me about family, because I know I got to meet your wife today and the pup. Shout out to the pup. So talk to me about family, man. Just like some of the things you do outside of work.
Yeah, so when I'm not wearing this, I'm wearing overalls or some beat to hell shirt and shorts, man. I have some property out there. I have goats, I have a pond, I have a creek, I got a shooting range. We play disc golf. We built a beautiful custom house, and I work. I am working, and I don't have a ton of hobbies. So the stuff I do it pretty thorough, right? So I picked you up in my car, which is not something
so nice.
Not something I drive too often, but it's a pretty legit. It's a Mustang Mach 1 and 6-speed.
That thing is so nice.
Before that, I had a Scat Pack Charger, and then I had a Corvette for a lot of years.
So Steve like going fast, y'all.
I do like going fast, and I like the muscle car feel. But I also, we live out in the sticks, man. Yeah. Open country roads. We're responsible about it. Take it out to the track and have fun. And yeah, I've been with my wife 27 years. Without having to wonder, I'm 43 years old, right? So we met when we were like 1, and we've never not been together, and it's because of that shoulder that I can lean on, and she keeps my ass in check, right? For real. I can bounce off other ideas that seem crazy to people, and she's like, you can do it.
That's what an amazing person in your life will do. They'll push you towards what you're trying to get.
Yep. And so it's like the confidence over the years did not come naturally to me. I was really closed in. Like I was not like this until I was probably 10, 11 years ago. And working with people and forcing them to smile and show them the way that I wanted them to look just transitioned to me then doing it.
Yeah.
So my director side got honed. I started working with Jeremiah Kipp, who was at NYU, and some other really great storytellers. And we used to write skits for Adult Swim, and I used to do all sorts of marketing videos for high-end facilities. And I've had all unique jobs, and I've learned something from each job that I just kind of take on and pass it on to the next position.
What separates, actually not even what separates, but for the people watching this podcast, a lot of them, it's less talk, more do. We all know someone who talks about doing things, they don't actually take that next step. What drives you? I know that's a super vague question, but what gets you up in the morning? And at the rate the Green Gridiron team puts out content, your mind is I want to say burnout. It's inevitable that someone like us would burn out if we keep at a pace where it's high level, and there's no breaks. Turn off your phone when you're doing a podcast. But what's your mindset around how you do what you do?
Yeah, and your questions are outstanding. So I am a more do less talk kind of guy, right? I've lost 115 pounds when I was younger. I was 298, bro. I used to wear 44 pants.
So you were a lineman.
I was where they told me to stand, right? I was usually a guard for sure. Yep. I played soccer for 9 years, and I've been working legit, have a job since I was 12. I was always a very fit, fat kid. right? And I just was. It was poor food, high stress kind of childhood. And then when I met my wife, I'm like, well, this ain't gonna work, right? Even though she didn't care. We actually started dating. I was really, really big. And then I just wanted to look a certain way, so I just made up my mind, and then it came.
Right.
And I have a really clear and very vivid imagination. So when I am doing something, I say it often, it's already done.
Yeah.
I just then have to do it. And it's not just some cutesy thing. I mean, I'm serious. Like, I have hyperphantasia almost, where I can see it, smell it, live it, breathe it. Then it's easy because you've already seen it. You just reverse engineer it, right? So I get up same time pretty much every day. I go to bed the same time every day. I'm not a saint, you know. I work out pretty hard. I do like to drink good, bottles of wine, and I like to cook food, but I like to work.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it, and I don't count my hours. I don't do anything like that. I just work when I need to work, and when I get to have downtime, it's hard downtime.
Which you deserve.
Yeah, but I do have an above average amount of drive.
Yeah.
You know, especially I know for my buddies my age, man, they're home fat and happy already. I'm like, come on, bro.
Have you always been like that?
No. So a lot of it came, honestly, the marriage of me working in the football industry and becoming obsessed with science, in particular neuroscience, almost came at the same time. And the two have really juxtaposition, right? Neuroscience and just the field of brain science changed my world. Changed it. Because I realized, first off, it's the most intricate thing in the universe up here. What we can do is ridiculous.
When we set
what we believe we can do is usually trash. So I just changed it, and I actually developed some self-worth, and I realized, man, okay, maybe I can do this and I can do that. I get real enjoyment out of trying to coach and help other people. I'm just not that great at it.
Right, but you'll keep on.
But I'm going to keep trying it, you know. So that's why outside of the football world and doing YouTube, I'm either working on my property, outside in nature, just enjoying everything that's around, and I can find joy and beauty in anything, man. Anything. Yeah. Yes.
All right. So last but not least, before I let you go, for everyone listening to this podcast, watching this podcast, aside from like your day job, just you as a human, what advice do you have for someone that is on the brink of wanting to do that next thing, or they want to leave their job? And of course, you guys know on the podcast, I never tell there's nothing wrong with a 9-to-5 unless you hate your 9-to-5. Then there's something wrong with it. Or someone that wants to start their own business, like what advice would you give them, kind of like someone just on the fence about, need to take that next leap?
Number one, be thankful, be grateful. And I know that sounds crazy. It's just do it, right? So if you're in a position that you don't love, be thankful that you recognize you don't love it. Then just start switching that gratitude to be like, what do I really want to be thankful for? You know what would be really, really cool is like the feeling of, X. Try it, just do it. You wanting it and writing down wish lists and vision boards ain't gonna cut it. You've got to do it. Yeah. Then when you do it, if it feels like this is what I've been missing and it gives you chills, do that thing. Only keep doing that thing. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what happens around you, because the rest, if it's meant to be and if you're good at it, you'll start getting paid. It will just come that way. And I know that might sound woo-woo or whatever, but I'm telling you, man, it's altered my existence. Just be thankful, be grateful for what's around you, and don't take advantage of people, and don't be a dick.
You getting to work with a lot of NFL people, I get to work with a lot of NFL clients, athletes, brands. I mean, everything that we kind of touch. And it's like, just don't be rude to people, because you never know how it spins back. Like, your time isn't different than my time because you make $1 million. That's not... it's not that way.
Yeah, and when I talk to people, I'm pretty passionate. I actually watch myself. My wife records me. I'm a handy guy, right? So I'm building sidewalks and pergolas in my house. And when I watch videos myself, I'm like, I look aggressive. And it's not. It's just I'm so spotlight focused on that thing. And I curse a lot. I do all the things that other people might not think is ideal, but
it's you.
And I try not to filter myself. That's right. And I think a lot when I talk, and I move a lot, and it's just how I am, So it's a good feeling.
I almost let you slip. Y'all can't see it, but Steve got a tat. Steve got a tat on his neck. I'll put a punch in. You see, he got the. Talk to me about the tattoo, man. I got like 3, but I wanted to know like that one. Did it hurt? Just tell me the meaning behind it.
Fair enough. So I am covered.
Oh,
I mean, I'm pretty covered. And what really happens is my wife or I have drawn all of these, and we write children's books on the side too. I've written 8 books. So I have my main character, Spike, right here in my arm. And every time I got any job and I was going to work, I felt like I was lying to myself because I was covering all my art. And I said to my wife, I'm like, I want to get a neck tattoo so bad. And she's like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know if I care. So she's like, what do you want to get? I'm like, I don't know. I kind of want to get lips. And so she's like, as long as they're my lips. I'm like, are you being for real? And she said, yeah. I'm like, let's go. So I got it because I have a couple motorcycles. And one of them runs a little rich. And when you come off it, it's pa, 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 pa. And when it does it, she goes, and she gives me raspberries on my neck. So I had her lips traced and put on my neck. Did not hurt. By far the least painful ink I've ever gotten in my entire life. If you want to feel bad and tough, go get a neck tattoo.
I like that, man. So now I can't let you leave. Talk to me about the children's book, the process.
Okay.
Just give me a little background on that. And
okay. Cool. So yeah, I'm an odd guy, man.
No, that's so cool. Me and my wife want to write one. So like this is real life. Why you have a podcast? Why you talk to people like this? Like me and my wife want to. This is what the whole podcast is about. Is me trying to write a book and not being who I told you guys. Like I keep talking about writing a book, but I'm not. I need to put the pen to paper, but also taking advice from someone like you who's done it. Like, what's that like?
Here's exactly what it's like. It is so fun and so frustrating. But it's way more fun. And the frustration comes from you wanting to be perfect to tell your side. You need to have a time when you say, I'm done. Because otherwise you're going to find excuses. So what we did, these are based off of just little characters. They're called Bichuis that we named them. My wife and I have been together, like I said, forever. And in high school, she used to just draw these little guys. And they were adorable little things. And she would make little clay characters. And I would tell her, these are brilliant. You got to do a story with them. You got to do story. And she's an artist, but she is not a writer. And I would tell her nothing. About 10 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, I just sat down and just wrote a story. And the premise of it is they are coming to you in your dreams, and the way that you summon them is by doing a big yawn. Because yawning is the most human contagion that there is. You notice if your wife yawns, then you yawn.
I'm
right?
almost yawning looking at you right now.
And
I'm trying to not yawn.
The tighter bond you have with somebody, the more likely you are to yawn. So our plan was to put kids to sleep. So you lay them down and say, okay, and then you read them the book, and then the Bichuis come to you and they just take you on wild adventures. Here's the cool part, they're dreams. So there's really no rules, man.
You can make up any, I love that.
So I would just look around and I saw my dog had fleas and I felt bad. So I pictured, what if the Bichuis dressed up like little fleas and fought the fleas on my dog, and then they were conquered and then they got off. So here comes one of the stories. Also, it doesn't hurt that every trip we go on is a business expense because we're writing and taking photos of everything we do. Children's book comes out. We self-publish, we sell on Amazon, there will be a YouTube show in the future. I'm telling you right now, it is a fun pet project. It is not meant to be lucrative.
Right.
But when I'm done with this journey, the next journey I will be doing is the Bichui Dream Adventure.
That's so I'm going to make sure I put a link down to that. Again, like I do thorough research on my podcast guests, but Steve slid under the radar with that one. So now that I know he's an author, I'm going to grab the books. I'm going to put the link to the show. Steve, thank you so much. Let the people know where they can connect with you, man. Thank you so much for letting me come here and be in your space today and being on the podcast.
Oh, it's my honor, and I mean that. You're an awesome creator, and I'm loving sharing all of this time and space with you. You know, I'm available through Green Gridiron, right? So just at Green Gridiron, #GreenGridiron. Again, I'm Steve Adams. I'm not out there as this big public figure. I have a social media following that I keep nice and small. Content creators and this kind of stuff is where it's at. We're going to be traveling, doing locker room tours, facility tours, that kind of thing. So next time we're out in Colorado, I will be sure to hit you up.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you guys watching this episode of Let's Talk More Do. Like I said, I'm going to link everything for Steve's info in the show notes. And remember, chase your goal, not the dream. Chase your goal. You got to make it real. Peace.